play. Play. It's a play. And that's considerable experience in chemical analysis. Did I tell you that?
No.
And I do know quite clearly that the death of my brother when I was 5, he was 3, was absolutely the dominant emotional influence in my life. What's it all about? Contact oil.
In their behavior?
Yes.
On yourself and your response, which becomes mental, it should be spontaneous from the other person's behavior.
We do this all the time when we're talking about anything with someone. We work off their behavior, whether we know it or not, but this puts it so we can do it under imaginary circumstances. It makes us more sensitive.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. Did you listen as yourself, or were you playing some character?
A little mustache.
I have a little mustache.
Kind of shocked you, huh?
Kind of shocked me?
Not really.
Not really.
Not really.
Not really?
No, not really.
Oh, no, not really.
Oh, no, not really.
Oh, no, not really.
That's beginning to bug you now.
Beginning to bug me.
Yeah, it's beginning to bug you.
Yeah, it's beginning to bug me.
Yeah, it's beginning to bug
Oh, you love that, don't you?
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Didn't know what to say, huh?
No, I didn't know what to
No,
say.
you didn't know what to say.
No, I didn't know what to say.
Didn't know what to say.
No, I didn't know what to say.
No, you didn't know what to say.
No, I didn't know what to say. You're getting a lot of enjoyment out of this.
Yes, I'm getting a lot of enjoyment out of it.
Yes.
We've got to keep the contact, the time, the contact, the repetition comes from my behavior, not only from my words. The pattern is behavior designed to eliminate all intellectuality from the actor's instrument and to make him a spontaneous responder to where he is, what's happening to him, what's being done to him.
Oh, I don't think I was ever comfortable. No, I think it was 2 years of stress and strain, almost unrelieved. Some moments were better than others. Once in a while you would do an improvisation and get a slight nod of approval from Sandy.
He was a man who actually knew something. One of the first authentic people that I and most of us had ever met in our lives. And of course he was autocratic about those things he believed in because he knew them to be the truth.
But when I was in the Army, I said, gee, what would be worse, to go to fight in Korea or go study under Sandy Meisner?
My name is John Boyd, and I'm an actor, and Sandy was my teacher. He wasn't there for the money he was making, for the reputation of it. He was really trying to bring what he believed deeply to be the highest of pursuits, toward his students, so that they could be part of this movement, the greatness of it, the joy of it, the importance really of it, of the work that inspires and makes our life a little richer. It does. We're opening the door to some kind of truth when we do a piece of artwork, and it's a very special thing. So anyway, he had that ability to inspire his students, and when I heard Bobby Duvall talk, or I heard Susan Sarandon talk, or any of those people that pass through those portals, they have that striving for excellence, that very high standard, and the joy in striving toward it. So that's a great, great gift. When I talk to young kids, I try to say, build your build your dreams on the great masters, work, and strive to make a contribution of the highest order. Don't be satisfied to get attention for your work or popularity for your work. Strive to have work that you can cherish.
I'm Mary Steenbridge, and I studied with Sandy Meisner for 2 years at the Neighborhood Playhouse. Sandy was the original, the most amazing director, teacher, inspiration in my creative life. He had that incredible knowledge, and you wanted that. You had such a ferocity of desire about what was in his mind, which was a bad thing sometimes. I think it was really hard not to want to please him, not to want his approval. He was pretty terrifying. He really couldn't abide anything that was untrue, and he was tough on us, and in the end defined for me what the word teacher means. He gave that word a whole new meaning for me. Memories, and they're all, luckily for me, very vital. They're there. That was the legacy he gave all of us. He is utterly, and his words are utterly unforgettable.
I studied with a great teacher early on named Sanford Meisner. And he said, it takes this little training course as a foundational course. It's going to take 2 years, but then it takes 20 years to even be able to call yourself an actor. And then a lifetime of experience that could be, potentially upwardly exercising and progressive. So that's how I think of myself, as a humble student and a graduate student, where each project is a chance to exercise myself. And some degree, my first responsibility was trying to make the story good and true to what it had been intended in the writing, and true to have it work in accordance with the director's idea.
Went to this class. It was a Meisner technique class. I went in and I was scared to death. I was shaking. Yeah, I had to thread a needle, and it was impossible because I was like this. And I was so angry and so nervous at the same time. I think one of the major things in a class, the first things, is to get up in front of people and just start to be able to make a fool of yourself, basically, and to show. I remember one thing she did for me that got me to a new level was I had such anger back then. I guess when you're young, a lot of people do. Everybody does. If you want to express something, you don't know what it is. And she kept telling me to go ahead, and I never wanted to. And something happened that I think she told someone, a partner, to do something to me, and he did it, and I destroyed the place. Just all that crap they have on stage. This is what you have to do. This is what people pay for. If you don't want to do it, get off. But this is what people pay for, to see. They don't want to see the guy next door. These are the things you need to express and be able to control. We'll work on the controlling part, and but that's what you need to show. And that was a big step for me, because then I could start to go to where my anger was and things like that, and realize that I could control it. And the repetition and it's just a matter of showing up every day, even when you don't feel like it, even when you don't want to be there, and doing what you're supposed to do.
The idea that imagination gives you outlet into more places. I think there is nobody whose personal experience is as rich as a human imagination. That's my personal opinion. I've always thought that the fundamental sort of Stanislavskian statement that you're behaving naturally under imagined circumstances is a good basic place to start. Because it contains the word imagination in it. There's Sandy Meisner's ideas about, exercises like the repetition exercise that I think are really effective. Sidney Pollack was on this show one time, and I saw it, and he said it perfectly, because he was one of his teachers. He said, it really is about getting you to listen, and I would put that very high on the list of things that I think good actors do. They actually listen to what the other person's saying. Personally, the repetition exercises, it had an interesting effect on me, which was, it makes you listen, but it also got me out of my head. It got me past the point of analysis. It took me past analysis of the text. And so it had this like weird side effect on me that was good for me because I'll get up. The place I needed to get was out of my head. My best advice is like, go out and put as many things in that little black bag as you can find.
My name's Sidney Pollack. I was a student of Sandy's for 2 years. Actually, I was a student of his for most of my life, but I was an official student for 2 years, and then I was his assistant for about 5 years after that at the neighborhood playhouse. He had an intensity and a toughness about him that scared everybody. I mean, everyone was petrified of him in a way that I'm trying to find an equation in my life before or after. I don't think there was anybody that could intimidate you quite as much as Sandy.
I mean, is it possible to talk about what does an acting teacher do? What are you teaching?
When I first began to teach, I taught with that kind of semi-intellectual manipulation which one sees at its worst in the colleges, you see. And rules, intellectual theories, yes. You know. You can talk about how to play a part, but until it finds its living roots in you, it's in your head.
It's what? It's in your head.
In your head.
In your head, yes.
And I am against the head.
Yes. In the beginning, there's an enormous amount of work and time devoted to getting rid of all kinds of prejudices about what acting really is, so that the initial work is a sort of a process of getting the actor to really pay attention to the other person.
Jet lag. Gruppo Figa Alberto.